Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. So what's going on, guys? Now, um, interesting video I came across on Fight Hype, with Bernard Hopkins' upcoming bout, his upcoming, farewell fight against Joe Smith Jr. He had his media day in Philadelphia at the Johan Boxing Gym, and he said a lot of interesting things as he always does, as he's prone to do. But this was extra interesting. Something he said about Roy Jones Jr. And I gotta be honest, being a big B-Hop fan, what he's done in the sport, he was the guy who made me start following boxing in the first place. I love Bernard Hopkins, and I actually have a special video planned for that week of the fight, so stay tuned for that. But Bernard Hopkins, in this video, he comes across to me as not very humble, disrespecting in many ways. Roy, all-time great, and Roy Jones Jr. kicking him while he's down. As you know, he's still fighting, and he's a far cry from the fighter he once was. As is B-Hop, although he's still good, still a far cry from the fighter he once was. So I'll play the clip, and I'll give my little analysis after that. So here's what Bernard Hopkins said about Roy Jones Jr.
Jones has some of the similar things that you talked about you're going to be doing after boxing. He can't seem to quit. What if you look phenomenal? How are you going to not have the urge to get in that ring, especially if the money is there?
Because let me tell you something. Like, it's going to take me to do something really stupid or invest in something like when the next alien is going to hit the planet and dump all my money on it, like one shot, to be in position to say I got to go in there for that, M-O-N-E-Y. But you can't compare Roy Jones to Bernard Hopkins. He started off fast. He started off popular than me, and we are friends. But always remember, it ain't how you start. And you ever thought, being a college guy or a college grad, that a guy who didn't go to high school and come out of the penitentiary in '88 after doing 5 years and walked off every 9 years of parole without a parking ticket, sitting here intelligent talking to you? Could you ever imagine that just because you started off one way don't mean that the ending of the book has to be the way you started? Most people remember the end of the book more than the beginning and the middle. To make them talk about the book, they must have a memory of the ending. I am the ending of my book. And here, the other stuff that you're wondering what I'm going to be doing afterwards, if you don't live on this planet, you wouldn't know. But every time you turn the TV on and you see a major boxing match, who's doing a breakdown? Who's doing a perfect execution of that? HBO took a segment and formed it around me when I broke down the Andre Ward and the Sergey Kovalev fight about the matador and the bull. Right? Who come up with that phrase? Who come up with the phrase of Canelo versus Cotto and that breakdown on style, on positioning? I'm glad that I always was multitask and not just being one-dimensional. Roy Jones was one-dimensional. And when that one thing left him, a mediocre fighter knocked him out. How deep is that? But when you are multitask and you don't rely on just one thing that can make you great now, don't get me wrong, but how great for long?
Do you think Roy Jones should be...
Alright, so there you have it. B-Hop. Damn it. So, B-Hop, I think, although I don't like what he said, I think he made some valid points. People back in the day when they both fought, Roy was that guy. Roy was the face of boxing. Roy was boxing. And you couldn't talk about boxing without talking about Roy Jones Jr. And he was more popular than Bernard, from an aesthetic standpoint. definitely more exciting to watch than Bernard. But like Bernard said, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And Bernard's longevity and the way he's been able to dominate and still be a good fighter into his 40s now at 50 years old speaks a lot about how great he is. And I think, if he would have just left it at that comparison and just saying that, like, if you can persevere through anything and it's not about how you start but how you finish, I think that would have been fine. But for him to say that Roy Jones Jr. was a one-dimensional fighter at this point, when it's your last fight, this is supposed to be about you. This is supposed to be about celebrating the career that you've had, and he's taking this time to take shots at Roy Jones Jr., who's a great fighter as well. So with that being said, I'm a B-Hop fan, but I thought that was pretty disrespectful, and he honestly, as much of a Bernard Hopkins fan as I am, prime for prime, as we already know, Roy Jones Jr. was a better fighter than B-Hop. No way around it. Roy is going to be fighting very soon. I wanted to do a video on it, but I really don't want to talk about it. I'm so sick of talking about Roy Jones Jr. fighting. I think he should retire. But Bernard Hopkins, honestly, man, it was messed up. Roy is not one-dimensional. His ability to, because look, Roy had an unconventional style. Roy relied on his speed. Roy was very reliant on his reflexes. There's no debating that. He does make a valid point that when those things, his reflexes, when the speed, when those things did decline, the Glenn Johnsons of the world, the Tarbers of the world, they knocked him out. But by no stretch of the imagination does it make him one-dimensional. It just means that he didn't know how to adjust his style. The way B-Hop kind of adjusted his style as he got older, Roy didn't make that adjustment. So with that being said, Roy was still very not multifaceted when he fought. Because to fight the way he did, you gotta have, just beyond the speed and reflexes, you gotta have understanding of punch angles, ability to slip punches, to counter off them like he did so many times. If you guys go watch the James Toney fight, when they're kind of posturing and Roy's kind of posturing, because Roy said he used to watch animals and chickens move or something like that, and he would kind of use their moves, and that's how he developed his unconventional style. So if you kind of see this in the James Toney fight, very famous moment, they're kind of like posturing, Roy's kind of like this, and then Tony's playing along, Tony's like this, and then Roy does it again, and then he slips his head to the left and boom, throws a right hook and catches Tony with something and knocks him to the canvas. And it was just like his ability to understand range, distance, timing. You can't be a one-dimensional fighter and fight and dominate the way Roy Jones was for so long. Sorry, you can't move from middleweight to heavyweight and be one-dimensional. So Roy or Bernard, I love you, bro. You're my favorite fighters of all time, but you're dead wrong for that. And honestly, in this case, you should be ashamed for taking this time to kind of kick the man while he's down. I gotta disagree with you on what you said. But let me know what you guys think. Bernard Hopkins says Roy Jones Jr. was one-dimensional. What do you guys think? Do you think he's in the wrong, or do you think he's in the right? Either way, let me know in the comments down below. Take the time to subscribe, and you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Dania. So until next time, take care, guys.